Yeah, we start this abbreviated version of the SportsMax Zone with track and field as Jamaica's sprint queen and global icon Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was presented with the keys to the city of Kingston, her parish of birth, at a ceremony at her alma mater, Wilma's Trust High School for Girls, earlier on Thursday. Now, the five-time world 100-meter champion was gracious in her acceptance.
I am beyond grateful, Mayor, for this honor, because I don't take this lightly, because I believe in impact. I believe in making sure that the next generation that comes after me will understand the importance of trusting the timing of your life, of trusting that God is good, God does good, and He will at the right time make everything possible.
Yeah, she also reflected on her journey to this stage.
I literally wanted to cry when I was coming down in the car this morning, right? Because I don't think you guys understand how, from Waterhouse to Woolman's to the world stage, I don't think you understand the power of community and how much the journey that has been rooted in strength, in faith, in perseverance, started here at Woolman's.
Yeah, indeed it did. Now, many of the 38-year-old's fans may be wondering whether the Pocket Rocket will be in action this season. Well, without saying too much, she doubled down on her previous pronouncement that the idea of retirement is not on her mind at the moment.
Pretty much the same thing. I have been training and looking forward to excited 2025. And as always, you know, track and field is a mental, physical, and emotional sport. You just have to make sure that mentally you're ready. You know, in life, we don't prepare for all the moments that can come, but we have to just pivot from those moments and come back. And one thing that I am grateful for is the unwavering support of Just Spans family and Jamaica and Ambu.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, multiple world and Olympic champion there. Lance and Mariah, as we were having the conversation at the top of the show about the brilliance of this woman, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and just how amazing she is, not just as an athlete, but as a human being. And the truth is, she deserves everything that she gets. She's not yet retired, and of course we heard just there she is planning on competing in 2025, but I don't know of a more deserving individual. And she speaks about the journey, which I think is important, because so often, especially in this day and age, youngsters look on and they see the finished product, but they don't understand the journey. They don't understand where individuals come from. And it's one of the reasons why I always love when Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce speaks, because she always reminds everyone about the journey, about the difficult times, about the fact that she had to persevere, about the fact that it was not always easy, but she's here. She is a multiple global champion, and she's one of the stars of our sport.
Yeah, and just to pick up from the point of her journey, one of the things she just said even a short while ago, and it really resonated with me, is the fact that you're not always prepared for any moment that comes. And I mean, her Olympic campaign that just ended up, you know, recently, is something that we can actually use as an example, because nobody expected that she was not going to line up. We were all looking forward to see Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce be her very best on the Olympic stage. And then she went on to speak about being able to pivot. And I think that is a life lesson in itself that can be applied to anybody in any sphere of life. Like, that is something that, you know, sometimes, and when I speak to my siblings, like, let's just say my younger brother, and, you know, things aren't working out and you just feel like you're just going to give up, but you're never really prepared to pivot. And I think her story and her dedication to her craft is a perfect example of that. Not being prepared, not knowing what's on the other side, but just when it happens, being able to pivot. Another thing that she spoke about, and she always speaks about, is her gratefulness to God. she's very outspoken about that, you know, always reminding everybody that, you know, a lot of the things that have been made possible for her is through her spiritual connection. And I think that those two things, Lance and Ricardo, are like just moments, life-teaching moments that a lot of people can draw on, especially the youngsters that she spoke to today at Wilmers.
Yeah, and you know, she has her Pocket Rocket Foundation, which is a tool that she uses to give back to teenagers who would be struggling to achieve their dreams, and she's so invested in that. And today she put $50,000 US to her old school Wilmer's girls, and there's former principal of Wilmer's girls as well. They're sharing the moment with her. But one of the things that I am most impressed with about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is her longevity, and I don't want to say longevity as a singular issue, because it is longevity with quality. There are athletes who have long careers, but to sustain her world level and world best performances for the period that she has been able to is phenomenal. We remember in 2008 when she won the Beijing 100-meter title, she was a year before that a virtual unknown. And 15 years after that, she is the Laureate Sportswoman of the Year, which is an award given to the most outstanding female sports competitor for the year, not just track and field.
Yeah.
So she's topping tennis stars, skiers, her own track and field rivals, including Sydney McLaughlin-Leveroni, who has been phenomenal, and she topped her when she won the 2023 award. So, and she was at 37 years old at the time. So for me, the way she has been able to sustain her top of the world performances for upwards of 15 years is unbelievable, incredible, and I would just say phenomenal. I don't think there is another athlete in the world at the moment like her.
Yeah, very much the case. And, you know, Lance, you spoke about 2007, she being a virtual unknown, which is the year before she won her first Olympic 100 title. In 2007, she did go to the World Championships, and there is a famous story, and I think she has spoken publicly about it as well, where she ran, I think, the ankle leg in the preliminaries of the 4x100 relay, and a senior athlete told her to ensure that she does not drop the baton because, you know, they needed to take care of business come the final.
Yeah.
And that was her entry into the global space of track and field. But even more so, when she came to the national championships in 2008, the Olympic trials, and she finished second, a lot of individuals were saying, Shelly, who is this young lady? Who is this girl? Of course, if you remember, Veronica Campbell-Brown, who was the queen of Jamaica sprinting at the time. Veronica was the reigning world champion, having won in 2007. And a lot of fans, a lot of persons in the media were saying that Shelly-Ann Fraser, at the time, not yet Price, should lose her spot, and Veronica Campbell-Brown should get a spot to run the 100 meters because of her experience and blah, 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 and a lot of other things. And I can just imagine that at the time, it must have been an uncertain period for Shelly-Ann. And so when she speaks about determination and perseverance, she knows exactly what she's talking about because she has gone through it. There are many other athletes who would have crumbled under a situation where almost an entire country is saying, you are not the one we want because we don't think you are capable of doing it. You're too young. Yes, you're too young. You're not ready. Veronica Campbell-Brown has been there and done that. She's the one who we want to represent us at the Olympic Games. And then she went to Beijing and she did this. It was not even close. She blew the field away. And by the way, the naysayers got louder because Veronica Campbell-Brown had actually beaten Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in one of the build-up races to the Olympic Games. Mind you, I think her coach Stephen Francis was playing a few games there, and people said, well, see, Veronica beat her. She should be the one who is going. And then that was the end result of it. She is remarkable, and she's proven that from day number one, and she continues to break barriers. She continues to defy the odds. And here we are in 2025, Lance and Mariah, and she's trying to do it again. She's trying to defy the odds. She's 38 years old. She will be 39 in December, and she is saying, I still believe I have what it takes to perform and perform well against the best sprinters in the world. And that says a lot about the woman.
Yeah, and you know, prior to her Paris Olympics outing, because of her injury issues, a lot of doubts, you know, surrounding what she would do in Paris and so on. In the end, she withdrew from the Olympics, which must have been a massive decision for her. Up to this point, we don't have the details as to why that decision was made. But she did in 2024 show signs that she still has it.
Yes.
We know that she ran injured a lot of times, a knee problem that affects her from performing at her highest levels. But you saw in a couple of races that she still had a lot of quality. And because of how well she ran in 2023, there were hopes that if she got fit enough, she could do well again in 24. I'm anxious to see what she does this year, because I think injury-free and with her mental toughness, no one should underestimate her possibilities.
When would be the first time, Ricardo, that she would be lining up for this season?
Well, she hasn't said. She hasn't given us...
But what's the latest, like, she could...
Well, like she did last year, the latest could be the National Championships, which at this stage we're not even 100% sure when it is going to be. It is scheduled for the end of June, but we are hearing talks that the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association is considering pushing it back to July, because the World Championships will not be until the middle of September. I think the 13th to the 21st of September. But I agree with you, Lance. She ran 10.91 last year at the Nationals, and I thought that was 10.91 heading to 10.8 lows, maybe if not even 10.7s at the Olympic Games. So it was very disappointing that she wasn't able to compete. One point I have to make, though, before we go to the break, because and I was trying to speak to a number of individuals before I came on the show, Lance and Mariah, about this, because I am no expert in this matter. It is probably more political than it is sport. But this is the second time Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is receiving the keys to the city of Kingston. And I just pulled up a 2008 article where she was among a number of Jamaican athletes coming from the Beijing Olympic Games to receive the keys to the city of Kingston, including other Olympic champions, or the other Olympic champions, Usain Bolt, Melaine Walker. I think the relay gold medalists were included in that as well, and Veronica Campbell-Brown, who won the women's 200 meters. That was under a Jamaica Labour Party mayorship. And this time it is under a People's National Party mayorship. And I wonder if the political lines are being drawn here in any way. Of course, it's also an election year in Jamaica, so we have to be very careful about how we speak about these matters in a year like this. But it is uncommon for any one individual to receive the keys to the same city on multiple occasions. In fact, some would go as far as to say it is uncommon for them to receive the keys to multiple cities.
Yeah.
So for her to receive the keys to the city of Kingston twice, I guess, Lance, it just proves the longevity and quality that you were talking about.
As they were joking and saying maybe the keys didn't work anymore, so they have new keys.
Or they've changed the locks.
Yeah, maybe it's now automatic. You know, those new one where you just put your fingerprint and go in. Yeah. I mean, we're just having fun, but well-deserved, of course, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. And I can't wait to see what she does in the future.
Yeah, can't wait to see what she does either. It's a long track and field season. The World Championships will be in September. And yeah, let's see. All right, what's coming up next? Shelly won't be there, but Lance will be at the track.